Hey guys, welcome into let's call it the state of the MXL at mid-season. This is what I hope will be a weekly, let's say maybe bi-weekly type show I'm going to do. So, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about kind of my opinion on where we are at the mid-season point or midway point of Season 2. It looks like, at least to me, like there's some clear-cut favorites in the playoff picture. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Also, I'd like to talk about where we are as far as defense. How do we feel like maybe defense is overpowered, underpowered? Rushing, outside rushing is a big topic. We'll talk a little bit about that. And also, we're going to talk about, which I'm going to start with, my most impressive teams as far as let's call it a comeback player of the year award, okay? And then let's also talk about, I've got two teams in mind, some teams that have been a little underwhelming this season, not quite to where we would expect them to be based upon either their history or last season's, which would be Season 1. So I kind of want to start with that. I'd like to start with the, let's say, comeback player of the year type of award. So my number one, and I think the clear-cut favorite in this one, is going to be H-Town Fire and the Houston Texans. Now, last season, the Texans struggled mightily on offense and defense, it seemed. And I think, admittedly, it was a situation where the owner of the Texans just did not do anything but just play his games. Didn't do much work as far as practice and putting the time to learn some schemes and that sort of thing. And I don't know if that was due to personal issues or if that, or personal life. Life gets in the way. It's a game. Obviously, we have to keep that in mind at times. But I don't know if maybe he just doesn't care for the game. That's possible. Maybe he's just playing because this is what he does. I don't know. But I do know that I played him last night, and he's for real this year. This season. He's ready to go. So he's 7-2. He is in second place in his division, just behind the Colts. And I think if he can continue his momentum, I think he's going to get himself a playoff berth as at least a wild card. Who knows? Maybe he'll push the Colts. I don't even know if he's played them yet, actually. So I like that. Also, as this is kind of an off-the-wall pick, but the Colts themselves. Now I know last season I want to say they were, was it 11-5, something along those lines. But they made the Super Bowl. So for me to say this is going to sound a little ridiculous, but I'll explain. So I think he's my number two kind of comeback player of the year, and the reason is I played him twice at the time. Last season. So the reason is because he was so pass heavy last season. He threw me 19 interceptions in 2 games. Okay, I mean, I didn't even need to do much. Just play base defense and baseline, and that was it. And he just threw it to me. And now, from what I understand, he is a run-first, balanced attack, and he's basically taking those turnovers out of the equation. So now his actual skill and his ability comes through because of his balance, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later as well. So he's kind of my comeback player part 2, even though, like I said, he made the Super Bowl last year. So, but maybe now this is his year to run the table and go all the way. As far as the disappointing teams for the year, I would say my number one would be NC Balla and Carolina, the Carolina Panthers. And last season, I want to say he was 11-5 and won his division. And it looks like, I want to say now he's 2-6 or 3-6, something along those lines. And admittedly, I think he admitted this in the chat, that he is just struggling for whatever reason. Don't know why, don't know how, any of that. Just seems like, in general, it's a struggle for him. And so, not sure what happened between Season 1 and Season 2. It may just be an adjustment period that, we all go through with the game, and you kind of, maybe you hit a wall at a certain point where what was working wasn't, and you need to go back to the drawing board. Who knows? As far as the second team that is a little disappointing for me is the 5-3 Dallas Cowboys and our commish, Tony Blue. Tony, sorry to tell you, 5-3 is a great record. It is. You've had some really bad losses, though. You lost to the Bucks pretty big, and then also you just lost to I believe they were the 1-7 Bills or 1-6 Bills at the time, and you lost 40-20. So you lost by 20 points. So a little disappointing in you. I think you have more to give here. I think you have another gear you can kick it into. So I don't know if that means more lab time or more practice or whatever it is, or maybe just attention to detail. I don't know. Whatever it could be. But good luck, and hopefully, you can make a strong push. So that's my disappointing teams, and then my comeback teams of the year at the mid-season point here in season 2. So now let's go over to the offensive and defensive discussion, because I know that there was a large discussion early on in the game's release, and then also in this year it was a hot topic, and I think it still is that people feel that rushing is overpowered. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that it's not, because certain runs are overpowered. It is not that difficult to get to the edge this year, and that's just the truth. Now, I will say, and this is just, I can only speak from my experience in my recent games over, I'd say, the last 5 or 6 games probably. I feel like people are doing a much better job at stopping the run. And I feel like people are really selling out to stopping the run, saying, I'm going to let you pass on me, but by God, you will not run on me. And I'm going to make sure that I force you to throw, which is fine. And obviously, you want to try to overcome this powerful rushing attack. So I feel like in my games, I used to average, 220, 230 on the ground, and that's just not the case anymore. Sometimes now I'm lucky if I get 100, 120, somewhere in that range, which is still good by NFL standards, of course, but not compared to what we were doing early in the year. I mean, the numbers were a little outrageous, to the point where I think even talks of changing sliders came into play and that sort of thing. So I feel like it's improved, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys disagree. If you do, just there'll be a little forum area for this where you're watching this, obviously, so just post it there. Tell me you disagree. It's something that I can talk about next time I do this, whether it be next week or the week after, and I can kind of touch on that, because I want to hear from you guys. If you guys got opinions, you guys got things you want me to say, or want me to touch on, go ahead and leave that in the forum. That's what it's for. So that's my opinion on where we stand as far as the run goes. Haven't really seen too many passing numbers out of control. There's a few guys who love to chuck the ball. That's fine, but nothing where it's, last season, Madden 13 was a little embarrassing with the passing was kind of out of control. I feel like that's been reined in. So, I mean, that's a plus. So, if you can, I think as far as offense goes, and this is kind of something that I noticed from just looking at the stats, it's pretty obvious that if you're not balanced, if you there's some guys that have 1,200 passing yards and 300 rushing yards. I mean, that's nice. That's fine, but their records are not very good. I mean, very few people who are not at least a little balanced have really good records. I just don't see it. I mean, so I guess the point is I feel like if you are not rushing the ball, I don't care, rushing outside, rushing inside, whatever it is, at least 15 times a game, and maybe upwards of 30 if you're really rolling or if you really have a big lead, I think you're cheating yourself. And main reason for that thinking is just because the rushing, like I said, it is overpowered. So obviously, use it to your advantage. I'm not saying abuse it, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If somebody's playing man defense against you and you want to try to throw a streak, I mean, it's not going to work. So, same thing here. So if somebody's playing man defense against you and you call a corner route, you're going to throw the corner route. So, because it works, right? So you're going to do the same with rushing. If they're allowing you to rush, you want to rush. But at the same time, I think like I said, what's happening lately is that people are adjusting to that, and people are selling out on it. So what I've had to do, and I know that this is kind of, I guess, what I'm preaching about here, is that, you know, add some balance to your attack, and maybe even set up the run with the pass as opposed to setting up the pass with the run as is conventional wisdom, just because people are selling out on the run. So you know what? Get some pass plays out of a run formation. Look, for example, at single back ace, which I think is called single back big if you go to custom playbooks and add it. And I think we all know that halfback zone weak is a great run out of that, and you can definitely use that. However, let's look at a play like not FL screen. I can't remember now. I think it's FL post or FL dig, something like that. And what it has is FL cross. That's what it is. And it has a drag route, a corner route, an in route by the tight end, and then a post route by the other receiver, and it kind of goes right over the top of where that tight end is doing his in route. That play has every route that you need to beat any type of defense that anybody could play against you. So something like that, I mean, let's say somebody's playing a lot of zone and they're zone blitzing you on your rushing and they're shutting you down. I mean, just throw the drag. Throw the drag just once. I mean, if they're bringing that heavy a blitz, you could get a 30-yard gain on that. Just because they don't have anyone deep, if they're bringing that safety up, or throw the post, you know, you may end up with the touchdown. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me where somebody sells out so hard on it because you're in a under center run-looking formation, and you just do a simple pass play, and next thing you know you have a touchdown. So I don't know. I guess my point is, I'm kind of on offense. I'm a little all over the place, but the big point is diversify, but maintain balance. I mean, real NFL teams, we're a sim league, right? So we want to kind of reenact what we see on Sundays. So as far as playing in the league, I think it's no different. I think that you're shortchanging yourself. All you're doing is you're assisting the defense in stopping you when you become one-dimensional. That's why, you know, most teams, when they get a lead, they drop into coverage and they just say, let my 4 linemen rush the quarterback, and usually those teams end up winning when they're up big, because it's very difficult to come back when the offense or when the defense knows exactly what you have to do. So that is kind of my feeling about offense and defense. So let's move quickly over to the playoff picture. I like the Rams in the NFC as a number 1 seed. I think they are the clear number 1 favorite, best player in the MXL. I don't think there's any question about that. Unfortunately, it looks like the Seahawks are going to end up in the wild card possibly. And you're talking about he may go 14-2, Bull might, and end up at the wild card. I mean, that's just brutal. That the division is brutal. I mean, you don't want to play anyone in there. I don't really know the Cardinals guy, so I can't speak to him. But I mean, I would be in no hurry to play anyone in that division. You know, Death is a solid player, Death Eagle, the Niners owner. So it's a tough road over there. I feel for those guys. It's definitely difficult to win that division. So I like him there. I like the Colts right now as a top seed, top player in the AFC. He just took down Ravens and Blair, who only had 1 loss at the time. That was a big win. And the week before that, he took down DG Fiasco. I can never say that right. And the Chiefs. And that's also, I mean, that's a huge win for him. I think DG was undefeated at the time. Can't remember, but anyway, we're running out of time here. So my final thought is to do with the sliders. There's a slider change I'd kind of like to see. It's not an end-all be-all, but I kind of think it's getting a little ridiculous. Is the interception slider? I mean, we're still getting picks. I'm not saying we're not. I'm not saying the numbers aren't real, but I feel like the gameplay is a little unrealistic. I mean, if I call the right defense and somebody chooses to continue to throw the ball in the coverage, I think I should deserve that pick. I don't think I should be penalized for, you know, anticipating correctly and making a play on a ball. But, you know, that's something we can mull around. Like I said, put it in the forum. We'll talk about it. And then the last thing is, you know, I'm going to try to do these every week or bi-weekly. Leave something in the forum you'd like me to talk about. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just first step in the process. So hopefully I did okay. But, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.